Over 7 persons confirmed dead through electrocution at football viewing center in Calabar. President Buhari expresses deep shock and sadness. Governing Board of Federal Polytechnics and Federal Colleges of Education reconstituted.
We have taken far-reaching measures.
NNPC expresses commitment to stop importation of petroleum products by 2019. A very good evening and thanks for joining us on the NTA Network News for tonight. I am Fumi Wakama. Some youth and football fans have been electrocuted at a football viewing center in Calabar. Umar Bassi Edit reports that so far 7 persons have been confirmed dead, while others are undergoing treatment for various degrees of burns.
The football viewing center located at Yasan community in Calabar municipality is usually a beehive of activities with about 100 youths showing support to their various football teams. The story, however, became different when a high-tension cable fell on the zinc of the center during an ongoing match.
Also, when we just heard a spark from the high-tension cable and the thing dropped directly on the zinc. Most of us that were there, virtually everybody that was sitting around me, those ones are all dead. That's why I said I cheated dead.
The man died. It's my husband. The room was red. People were falling as if they threw them. Falling, I shouted. I was looking for him. I did not see him. I said, they carry people from on top of other people they carry. I turned the other side. I saw somebody lying there. I said, could this be him? I thought he had jumped and came outside. I saw him. Blood came out from his mouth.
A total of 18 people were brought in to the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. Out of the 18, 7 were already dead before they arrived at the hospital. 11 were still alive. And as I speak now, the 11 people are still alive and they are stable.
In a swift reaction, the state governor, Professor Ben Ayade, represented by his deputy, Professor Ivara Isu, visited the victims at the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital with a promise to cater for their bills. Governor Ayade commiserated with the families of the deceased and directed a commission of inquiry.
That all those who are on admission here will be treated at the expense of the government. So we're taking full responsibility for their treatment. And very soon there'll be a commission of inquiry set up to investigate this matter and to see how this can be avoided in the future.
Spokesperson of Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, Mr. John Oyi, said such technical accidents could be prevented if landlords build their houses away from high-tension cables. So far, all the victims in the hospital have been said to be stable. In Calabar, Umar Basedet, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed shock and sadness over the tragic event which claimed the lives of many Nigerians at a football viewing center in Calabar, Cross River State. The president commiserated with the government and people of Cross River State and football fans nationwide over the unfortunate incident. President Buhari commended the state government for prompt action in setting up a commission of inquiry into the incident and the offer of assistance to victims and their families. The president condoled families and friends of the mostly young victims whose sudden demise is a big blow not only to their families but to our football-loving nation. A statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, said the president prayed to Almighty Allah to grant the souls of the departed eternal rest and comfort all those who mourn this irreparable loss. The Baptist Convention, which is self-propagating and self-supporting, is joining President Muhammadu Buhari to further promote robust coexistence and interaction among Nigerians for national growth. National President, Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, said this will dominate their 104th annual session at the Nigerian Baptist Convention in Abuja. Lydia Bassi was there.
With the theme, Moving Forward, Overcoming the Challenges of Life Through Jesus Christ, in relation to Nigeria, the CAN president, who is also President Nigerian Baptist Convention, commended the federal government for sustaining war against insurgency and other acts of criminality. The efforts of the federal government in revamping the economy, especially in strengthening the local currency, was commended.
We equally salute the courage of our gallant military, and we shall continue to pray for them over this good work of defending the people on this matter. Equally, the release of the 21 of the several Chibok girls kidnapped 3 years ago is commendable.
The Nigerian Baptist Convention started its mission in Nigeria in 1850. Over 30,000 participants are expected at the convention, which begins on Saturday. In Abuja, Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
Governor Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State has called for continued support, understanding and cooperation of Nigerians to the Buhari administration in the task of sanitizing, rebuilding and restoring hope to Nigeria. This was after joining President Muhammadu Buhari to perform the congregational Juma prayers at the State House Mosque. Correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Apart from Governor Sani Bello, many other senior government officials also joined President Muhammadu Buhari at the Jumu'at prayers for thanksgiving and seeking of divine intervention in their lives and that of the nation. Speaking to newsmen later, the Niger State governor expressed delight over the recovery of President Muhammadu Buhari, whom he said has succeeded in dismantling obstacles to national salvation.
I believe the president has done very well, especially in the fight against corruption. In the first place, most of the problems we're having is as a result of corruption. And the security situation in the northeast has also been addressed. And the insurgents have been degraded to the very minimum. Mr. President is committed to addressing the economy. I think we are out of this section, actually.
Governor Sani Bello used the opportunity to make a case for urgent attention by the federal government towards ascertaining the genuineness or otherwise of the reported discovery of crude oil deposits in Bida area of Niger State.
I have written to Mr. President to come into the matter, which he has acted already. My prayer to the federal government is, if the studies turn out to be true, that there are reasonable reserves, the federal government should pay attention and provide the required funding to start exploration in the area.
The governor takes pride in the giant strides recorded by his administration so far in the development of Niger State. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And more in Juma prayers, as purification of the mind and good governance have been described as foundation for a prosperous society. Imam of the Ansaruddin Society Juma Mosque, Maritime, Abuja, Dr. Musa Olaufe, stated this in his sermon at today's Juma prayer. Abdullahi Musa Sleja has details.
It is not all the time that people profess what they have in mind. That is probably why the society, according to experts, sees in people behaviors contrary to what they claim to believe in. Speaking on good intention, Dr. Olaufe said it is deceitful for believers to have bad intention toward their fellow beings and the society. He reminded worshippers that Allah, who creates, knows what everyone has in mind, and that whoever has bad intention, evil will hunt himself or herself.
Even within your office, what intention are you having with the people living or working under you directly or indirectly? Whoever do good will be rewarded, and whoever do any bad, Allah says he will not get anything than punishment.
Some worshippers spoke.
If you want your society to grow, even your family must have a good intention.
We depend solemnly on our own heart desire. We don't place Allah's consciousness again in all our affairs. So these are the things that actually derail goodness that's supposed to appear in our attitude, in our behaviors.
The Imam urged Muslims to always be good to others, irrespective of whatever difference. Abdullahi Musa Slija, NTA News.
The annual retreat of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation with secretaries to state governments scheduled to hold in Yola, Adamawa State from April 23rd to the 25th has been postponed. A statement by the Director of Press, SGF's office, Bolaji Adebiyi, says a new date will be communicated to all participants and invited guests in due course. The office to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation expressed regrets for inconveniences. And reports just coming in says strong economic prospects following years of global slowdown became the epicenter of discourse at sessions in the ongoing spring meeting in Washington, D.C. Leah Katung Babatunde, covering the meeting, reports that both the World Bank and the IMF say ending poverty, improving financial trade integration and sustainable growth can be achieved through robust global cooperation.
Global economic growth has seen a significant uptick from 3.1% in 2016 and is projected to rise by 3.6% next year. This is courtesy of improved injection of capital and investments in critical sectors of the global economy. For the World Bank, bridging job gaps as well as an urgent need to end global hunger driven by climate change will shape its relationship with nations.
The Climate Fund is still at around $7.5 billion after 2 or 3 years, and the estimation was that there'd be many more billions of dollars than that. So we're using this meeting to bring all of the leaders together to come up with a new plan. I mean, we're going to put on the table a different kind of platform where all the different groups that are trying to have an impact on climate can work together to put the financing tools together.
The goals of the IMF have pretty much remained constant, with greater focus on improving global trade and cooperation.
All countries, of course, should guard against what I have called the self-inflicted wounds, such as restrictions, subsidies, and other trade distortions that reduce competition and economic openness.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, through its Acting Director Corporate Communications, Isaac Okorafo, says it will continue to sustain capital injection into small and medium enterprises to enable them compete favorably with their peers around the globe.
What we cannot readily admit or accept is the fact that trade cannot be used to kill local industries, and that's what is informing our position, that we cannot also use our depleting forest reserves to import things that we can produce.
While expressing continued support for healthier competition, Okorafo maintained the policy stance of the Apex Bank and foreign exchange remains a key shock absorber for the Naira. From Washington, D.C., I'm Lekating Babatunde.
And following Nigeria's right to host the 61st UNWTO CAP meeting next year, leader of the delegation to the just concluded meeting in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, says the hosting right won by Nigeria barely 1 year after returning to the global body is a demonstration of the administration's acceptance on the global scene. Anthony Fosin has more.
Nigeria arrived at the meeting with confidence, and as the meeting unfolded, Nigeria became a reference point, culminating into making the leader of the delegation and Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, proposing to host the 61st session. In a unanimous acceptance, Nigeria got the nod to host. Talking to the minister on what the hosting right means to Nigeria, this is what he said.
What that means really is that the entire world has endorsed the programs, the efforts of the Buhari administration. It reiterates the confidence the global community has in Nigeria. So it's quite a big moment for Nigeria.
He went further to explain the benefits accruable to the country.
It provides Nigeria also the opportunity to showcase its diverse cultures. It provides the Nigerian opportunity to give its own narrative from its own perspective. It also gives confidence to investors that this is a country they can come and invest in. And of course, it does more than that. It also convinces the entire world that Nigeria is serious, that it is looking into what we call the creative industry to diversify its economy. It's about time Nigerians start thinking bigger and they stop, being narrow-minded.
Nigeria will be hosting the meeting for the 4th time next year. In Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, governing boards of federal polytechnics and federal colleges of education reconstituted as President Muhammadu Buhari nominates Professor James Momoh as chairman of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. These and more reports when we come back.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Let's pepper them. So tell somebody to tell everybody to come join Maya, baby.
I did bring too much sauce. Glow Mega Music Talk.
It's gonna be a mad over your 10.
You're ready to win a show stoppers.
I'm your host for the biggest show ever.
If you miss the stuff, you're gonna miss everything. So join me, guys. Let's turn it up.
We'll be storming across Nigeria. I won't be anywhere else.
Everyone who is anyone is going to be there.
All Nigeria's A-list musicians.
One big stage.
Live and direct.
Glow Mega Music Tour.
All over Nigeria.
So watch out because we dey come. Let's go!
It's the Glow Mega Music Tour with your favorite anchors and special guest stars. It's gonna be untamed. Text music and your preferred location to 207. Use 2,000 Naira Glow airtime in 1 month to stand in line for your free ticket. So what are you waiting for? The Glow Mega Music Tour.
Glow Unlimited.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights. How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Rector Mr. Matthew Akpata, on behalf of the Management, Academic Board, staff and students of the Federal Polytechnic Ida Kogi State, warmly invites graduates of 2006 to 2016 and the general public to the 23rd Combined Convocation Ceremony. Date, Saturday, 29th April 2017, time 10 a.m. Venue, Convocation Pavilion of the Polytechnic. Visitor, Malam Adamu Adamu, Honorable Minister of Education. Host, Mr. Matthew Etopa Akpata, Rector, Federal Polytechnic Ida. Alhaji Karim Abu, Registrar, announced.
We appreciate the gesture, we appreciate her love, and we know that she cares about the people of Nigeria.
She wants to touch people's life, especially the less privileged, for even people who are sick in the hospital. We remember that they have a wife of the president who is very concerned about human life and humanity in general.
That scenario will not happen.
The insurgency has been contained and agricultural production is bouncing back. Nigeria is working towards food sufficiency.
So FAO, thank you for coming. We discussed we're going to need your help in expanding agriculture, in introducing new crops for local consumption and export. We need to make the rural people richer and happier than they are now.
We must become a nation where we grow what we eat and consume what we produce.
You're still watching NTA Network News. President Muhammadu Buhari has nominated Professor James Mama as chairman of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. The president's nominee to the Senate is a professor of electrical engineering and computer science, a director of energy services and controls at the Howard University in the United States. Professor Mama has over 3 decades of teaching and research experience in power system, smart grid optimization and power communications. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, expressed the President's strong belief that the professor has the technical knowledge, capacity and integrity to lead the Commission's efforts to bring the much-needed change in the nation's power sector. And President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reconstitution of the governing boards of all 25 federal polytechnics and 21 federal colleges of education in the country. A statement by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu says, apart from ensuring geopolitical spread, the appointments were guided by the stipulated requirements as contained in acts establishing the institutions. The new governing boards, comprising chairmen and members, are to be inaugurated on a date to be announced soon. Senate leader Hamid Ibrahim Lawal says support for President Muhammadu Buhari is support for ideology for good governance and nation building. This was at the Northwest Zonal meeting of the National Committee for Buhari Support Group in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa brings us details.
The National Committee for Buhari Support Group is the umbrella body of about 200 political associations and groups that supported President Muhammadu Buhari during his electioneering campaigns. It was formed to harmonize activities of the various groups towards a common goal of ensuring the success of the President's policies and programs.
This year's budget seems the highest allocation release, funds releases for capital projects, the highest so far, since the inception of civilian administration, over 1 trillion naira.
So there is always a need to use the support groups that canvass for election to go back to the grassroots and tell the grassroots the government is for them.
The Kano meeting brought together representatives of the committee from the 7 states of the Northwest Zone. Senate leader Ahmad Ibrahim Lawal stresses need for support and understanding for President Buhari, who he described as more than just a person but an ideology.
Mr. President believes that the most downtrodden masses of Nigeria should be given their dues. That's why he fights corruption.
We need sophisticated political culture that will support the president and complement government effort.
The corrupt officials have no hiding place now.
The Northeast Zonal meeting of the National Committee for Buhari Support Group will hold in Bauchi. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Registered builders have been challenged to find lasting solution to structural defects and collapse which have assumed an alarming dimension. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, said this in a message to the 15th induction ceremony of newly registered builders. Works in Housing correspondent Mohammed Hamza Sheikh reports.
Structural collapse is neither new nor peculiar to Nigeria or even emerging economies alone. It is a global phenomenon that dates back to many centuries ago. What is peculiar about the Nigerian situation is perhaps the scope and frequency of the menace, which has reached not only alarming but embarrassing proportion. Oftentimes, engineers, quantity surveyors, architects, builders, and contractors are blamed for every structural defect or collapse.
There's no point in building a house that has families in them and will collapse.
We don't have any mandate over unregistered builders, quacks, so to say. And so legislation has to be strengthened.
The minister, represented by the Director of Housing in the Ministry, Sani Gidado, says as the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria inducts newly registered builders, the task before them should be on how to minimize loss of life and property resulting from structural collapse.
I therefore enjoin the various professional bodies in the built environment to yield to tolerance, understanding, and cooperation for the purpose of achieving greater construction performance and, more importantly, put in check the incessant cases of building collapse.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has also offered to partner with Carbon in educating Nigerians on the adverse effects of building collapse.
Nigerian Television Authority will be solidly behind you to create awareness, to educate the masses on the effects and the dangers of collapse of building.
A total of 106 inductees took oath during the ceremony. Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
The third conference of the Association of African Maritime Administration has ended in Abuja with the Director General of NEMA, Dr. Dakuko Pisaside, emerging president for 1 year.
This will serve as a platform for us to rally around other African countries and Europe, Asia, so that we can get elected to the class C of the International Maritime Organization. He is responsible in looking at the communique and ensuring the implementation of those communiques.
Egypt has been given the right to host the fourth conference of the association, while Namibia secured the preparation right to host in 2019. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is to be repositioned for not just disaster management, but also disaster prevention in accordance with globally accepted frameworks. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Yunusa Mehaja, gave the pledge while taking over mantle of leadership at the agency. Mohammed Hamza Sheikh has the details.
Established in 1999, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has demanded to coordinate resources towards efficient and effective disaster prevention, preparation, mitigation, and response in Nigeria. Over the years, the agency has been tackling these disaster-related issues through the establishment of structures and measures, though not without some challenges. With the humanitarian crisis in the Northeast, the outbreak of meningitis in the Northwest, and other disaster-related challenges in other parts of the country, the task before the new Director General of NEMA is definitely enormous. However, coming from the Northeast and directly affected by the deplorable condition of the internally displaced persons in the region, the DG says the agency will in a few days be repositioned to be more proactive to disaster management and prevention.
We'll have a lot to do. We'll study what they have, and surely, based on the previous experience I have in other developmental programs I was involved, with the information they will pass to us, we'll sit down and have a program. And I assure you, with the commitment we have, we'll succeed and turn around the agency.
Mustafa Mehaja also solicited the cooperation of management and staff of the agency to achieve greater success in the task ahead. Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishaki, has commended the German government for its capacity-building efforts towards enhancing the technical ability of personnel of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. This was at the maiden graduation of Armed Forces Electrical and Mechanical Engineering Workshop in partnership with the German Technical Advisory Group in Abuja. Olajide Bello has more.
With the combined efforts of the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies towards ensuring terrorism and other criminalities are checkmated, it is pertinent to have technicians with requisite skills to maintain weapons, armed fighting vehicles, as well as soft-skinned vehicles in support of ongoing operations. In furtherance of this, the bilateral agreement between Nigerian and German Ministries of Defense in 2015 has started yielding positive results through cross-fertilization of technology and innovation for an effective and proactive armed forces.
This feat is an encouragement to the two countries to explore other avenues for collaborative partnership in the interest of national development. The need for enhancing the technical ability of our personnel cannot be overemphasized.
Our cooperation here at AFREMA marks one of the most long-standing patterns of our military cooperation and defense matters.
The course curriculum entails metal processing, auto technology practicals, automotive engineering, auto electrical and electronics, welding and soldering, amongst others, in the Year 1 module.
The graduates were challenged to put their skills and knowledge to practice for the benefits of the country. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Sustaining peace and national unity remains a priority that all Nigerians, particularly focal agencies, must work towards achieving. This view was expressed by the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, when he received the management team of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, led by its Director General, Professor Osita Osita. Adebola Brooksland Sunday has details.
Peace, analysts say, is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. For the leadership of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, the Nigerian Television Authority has over the years been the station to beat, and the Institute is seeking stronger collaboration with the largest TV network in Africa.
The same news item that will be reported by all the other media houses, once we watch it from the NTA, you can get the balanced perspective.
NTA's Director General Yakubu Ibn Muhammad assures the Institute of maximum support and that NTA remains committed to national peace and cohesion.
You know, we are partners in progress, right? And ours is to build, not to destroy. So once we are building, you know, there are certain things that we must take into account. So it's natural. If you are a builder, you try not to destroy.
We want to also use the platform of the media, mainly the television, the NTA, to reach communities in the Northeast in order that they will understand the importance of community peace building. We are building their capacity on insider mediation so that they can help themselves resolve conflicts rather than waiting for people from outside to come.
Established 17 years ago, the Institute's vision is to be Africa's hub for policy-relevant research, capacity management, strategies, and intervention. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And turning to the energy sector, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation says it is committed to stop importation of products by 2019. To achieve this target, Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Mekan Tibaru, says the corporation is fast-tracking rehabilitation and revamping of all refineries. The GMD said this during a dinner in Abuja with journalists. Lydia Sampson was there.
Represented by Saidu Mohammed, NNPC's Chief Operating Officer, Gas and Power,
The GMD says if Nigeria is able to stop product importation by 2019 as projected, the nation would have removed a major obstacle that has militated against development over the years. He said the NNPC is putting in place multifaceted strategies to achieve this mandate, but will need the support of Nigerians and the media in particular to succeed. He asked the media to help sensitize Nigerians on the need to safeguard oil and gas facilities nationwide and check vandalism, which results in the destruction of the ecosystem.
In the spirit of enshrining accountability, we have taken far-reaching measures towards recovering over 130 million liters of PMS, worth about 14 billion naira, stored in the facilities of some depot owners.
He assured Nigerians that the NNPC will continue to sustain product availability and ensure that products are safe. Group General Manager Public Affairs, Undu Ugbamadu, commended the media for their support so far and committed that the corporation will continue to assist them in capacity building. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
And next in our lineup, we join Ademola Adeoye in Lagos for reports from our Lagos Network Center. Good evening, Demola.
Good evening, Fumi, and warm welcome to Lagos. The Lagos State Police Command has arrested 13 suspected kidnappers in Ishawo Creek area of Ikorodu, Lagos State. The arrest was hinged on the recent clash that led to the death of 5 security personnel. Deputy Inspector General of Police Southwest Zone Folusho Adebanjo said other suspects at large will be tracked down. Abolade Salami has the report.
A combined team of the State Marine Police, Special Anti-Robbery Squad, mobile policemen and officers from the Anti-Kidnapping Squad, in collaboration with the local vigilante group, stormed the criminal hideout in Ishawo Creek and demolished illegal waterfront shanties within the creek, where the criminals meet to perpetuate their nefarious activities. Lagos State Commissioner of Police Fatah Osheni, who participated in the joint inspection of the criminal hideout, said the visit was to map out other strategic means of securing the area against other attacks. While commending the synergy of the combined efforts of security operatives, Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Southwest Zone, Folusho Adebanjo, said the police will ensure there is no reprisal attack.
Lagos has been blessed with good security, heads of security. Criminals will be dealt with when they commit any offense. Those ones, they cannot escape. If you commit any crime in Lagos, then you'll be caught. I can assure you about that.
It would be recalled that 2 weeks ago, 4 police officers, 1 army captain, lost their lives after an ambush unleashed on them by suspected militants in Ishawo Creek. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
And now to business news. The need to ensure financial inclusion and reduce human traffic in banking halls necessitated the introduction of automated teller machines, ATMs. This all-important financial component is now bedeviled by various challenges in most parts of the country. Over now to Jennifer Igwe for details in our business news segment.
Welcome to the business news segment. With the introduction of the cashless policy by the Central Bank of Nigeria in 2011, the use of automated teller machines, ATMs, for financial transactions became imperative. Lately, ATMs have been plagued by some challenges that inflict untold hardships on customers. Musa Toliat tells us more.
Financial transactions became easy and stress-free following the introduction of automated teller machines. Apart from making withdrawals and confirming account status, ATMs afford customers the luxury of conducting interbank transfers and even allow purchases of airtime for mobile phone users. However, carrying out transactions on ATMs lately have been fraught with challenges which rob customers of quality time. Customers now have to spend extra time on long queues at ATM centers.
All the ATM inside there are not working. Maybe it's only one there that is working.
You cannot withdraw 20,000. So you have to stay for a very long time.
People go to ATM to make withdrawal they don't need. And that's why sometimes the ATM run out of cash.
What customers should do is that when they want to make payment, they should use their accounts on in the POS of the retailers.
Financial experts say the prevailing challenges stem from poor knowledge of the workings of cashless policy, which dwells more on reducing cash withdrawals for purchases.
That's a package on the business news segments tonight. NTA News at 9 continues shortly. Please stay with us.
You're still watching NTA Network News. It's now time for us to take another break for some messages, after which the news continues. Stay with us.
Comedy gather under one roof. There is only one outcome. Then we bring down the roof. Come witness the craziest and the funniest, the oh my God, and the baddest of them all. Laughter will scatter your brain well.
Come watch the biggest names in African comedy at Glow Laughter Fest. Basketmouth, Bovi, I Go Die, Sheyi Law, Gordons, Salvador, Osama, Bash, Kenny Black, and many more.
You will never have a bigger gathering of jaw-dropping, hip-cracking comedians under one roof.
One microphone, one net, all over Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
I am going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Live and direct.
For the time of your life.
Will you? To win a free ticket, use 2,000 Naira in a month and text LOL and your preferred location to 240.
Oh, Laughter Fest. Laughs will kill you, Dad.
True.
Glow Unlimited.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Where is the pulp? The pulp. Where is the pulp? Where is the pulp?
Taste the goodness of real orange pulp in every gulp.
Where's the pulp?
5 Alive Pulpy Orange, now in your neighborhood.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament.
So many things have been wrong in sports. We've been talking around it.
We need performance expertise, and you can only get some of this where you have world-class facilities.
How can sports deliver return of investment to attract the kind of money required to take it to the next level?
We cannot interfere in the internal affairs of even the federations that belongs to us.
Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA, Thursdays at 11 p.m. Keep a date with parliamentarians.
Who else have it?
Glad to know you're still there, watching the NTA Network News. The National Open University of Nigeria says former President Olusegun Obasanjo's leadership qualities and good governance will continue to be reference points for students of political science and history. Briefing the media on the university's Olusegun Obasanjo Good Governance and Development Research Center, which inaugural lecture comes up soon, Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Abdallah Adamu, said Chief Obasanjo has done a lot for the country to deserve the honor the institution accords him.
The university was suspended in 1984 for some logistic reasons. He saw the vision when he took over as the president of the country in 1999 and resuscitated the university. He's an old man at the age of 80, and yet he's a student of the university. He is currently enrolled on his PhD program in Christian theology. To us, that's a very strong message.
Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports the Vice Chancellor saying that the former president has graciously agreed to deliver the inaugural lecture. As ICPC takes anti-corruption campaign to local government councils in Sokoto State, we now join Zainab in our Sokoto Network Center for details. Good evening, Zainab.
Fumi, and welcome to Sokoto. The current anti-corruption crusade of the federal government has now been taken to the local government level in Sokoto State. This came to the limelight when the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, brought together all principal officers, including chairmen of the 23 local government councils, to a brainstorming session aimed at strengthening local government administration devoid of corrupt practices. Alhatu Abdullahi completes the report.
This is the first time ICPC is engaging local government officials in such anti-corruption drive aimed at eliminating all forms of corrupt practices at the local government level. Chairman of ICPC, represented by the Zonal Commissioner Northwest Zone, Olusegun Adegun, noted that the country is still faced with poverty and underdevelopment due to mismanagement and corruption at all tiers of government. He said the Buhari administration is determined to put an end to corruption in public service, and the effort is already yielding positive results.
The corruption fight must be owned by all Nigerians. ICPC cannot do the job alone.
Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, represented by the State Commissioner for Local Governments and Community Development, Munir Muhammad Danya, reaffirmed the commitment of his administration to provide a transparent and accountable leadership in the management of scarce resources for the development of the state. In Sokoto, Dalatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Plans have reached advanced stage by the Nigeria Police Force to introduce public-private partnership initiative towards improving the condition of police barracks across the country. The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of logistics and supply, DIG Megari Abbas Diko, disclosed this while on a working visit to Kebbi and Sokoto states. Sheikh Muhammad Datti completes the report.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police was in Kebbi State to assess measures adopted by the police in ensuring safety of lives and property in the state. It was also aimed at assessing the condition of existing infrastructure and logistics with a view to improving them for better performance. DIG Megari Abbas Diko, who lauded the commitment of officers and men to their job, said, despite paucity of funds, police authority is exploring ways to address the challenges. The Deputy Inspector General of Police also reiterated that the present police leadership has zero tolerance for corruption, abuse of human rights, and unprofessional conducts. The DIG was also at the Kebbi State Government House on courtesy call where Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu granted 50 hectares to the police for police housing scheme, and the palace of the Emir of Gondu, Alhaji Muhammad Ilyasu Bashar, who commended the reforms being implemented by the police leadership. In Sokoto State, DIG Megari Diko identified inadequate manpower and lack of sufficient funds as major challenge hindering effective policing in the country. He therefore said the police would need about 30,000 officers and men to bridge the manpower gap. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
And as it from here, it's back to you, Fumi.
Thank you, Zainab. And the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Force Headquarters Abuja, Udente Tomchukwu, has met with key players in the security sector in Enugu State to map out new crime-fighting strategies for effective policing. The DIG, who is on a familiarization tour, also gave the personnel the message from the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, on the need to work together to meet their mandate. Chinyere Umoye reports.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police, Force Headquarters Abuja, Udente Tomchukwu, has met with key players in the security sector in Enugu State to map out new crime-fighting strategies for effective policing. The DIG, who is on a familiarization tour, also gave the personnel the message from the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, on the need to work together to meet their mandate. Chinyere Umoye reports.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police, who is also in charge of police commands in the Southeast Geopolitical Zone, first met with senior police officers of the Enugu State Command and heads of various sister security and law enforcement agencies in the state. Top on their discussion was the need for synergy between the police and the groups in the area of sharing intelligence reports and ideas with a view to providing adequate security for citizens of the country and the state.
Recently, we are trying to create more area commands to bring policing down to the people.
The DIG proceeded to the state headquarters of the police command, where he commended the Commissioner of Police, CP Dammala Muhammad, inspectors, as well as rank and file officers for their tactical operations, which have reduced crime in the state. Earlier on arrival at the headquarters, the DIG inspected the guard of honor. DIG Valentine Ntomchukwu also exchanged ideas with traditional rulers from various communities and leaders of Hausa Fulani community living in the state to find lasting solution to the crisis between farmers and cattle rustlers, which has led to the destruction of lives and property. The DIG had earlier paid a courtesy visit to the governor of Enugu State, Chief Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, in Enugu, Chide Nwoye, NTN News.
And another commercial break beckons when we return. Global tidbits, views from NTA Sports Parliament, sports update, weather forecast, and more.
Following the approval of the whistleblowers policy by the Federal Executive Council and its launch by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, patriotic Nigerians have been making inquiries on how and where they could deliver information that could lead to the stopping or uncovering of fraud to the appropriate authority and answers to frequently asked questions. The Federal Minister of Finance has therefore dedicated a telephone line for receiving SMS, a whistleblowers portal, and an email address through which members of the public who volunteer to disclose information about a possible misconduct or violation could deliver such information for the attention of the team dedicated to process such information.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to record.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Many thanks for being there. We begin this segment with Global Tidbits. Former Hutu militia leader sentenced to life imprisonment for role in 1994 Rwanda genocide. Plus, fresh evidence emerges on location of Malaysia airline flight MH370, which disappeared in 2014. Here is Ogechi Paul with details.
London court in Kigali